Hi everyone, it's August 22nd. It is just 15 minutes until noon, and I've been fasting for about 16 hours now. This is around the sweet spot. Every time I get to 16 hours, I feel invincible. I feel like I could fast another 3 days. Of course, once I start getting lightheaded, usually by hour 25, 26, that's when the story changes. But I try to enjoy the 16-hour fast as long as I can. I wish the feeling of 16-hour fasting could last forever. The problem is that eventually I do get lightheaded, and once I eat again, I gotta wait another 16 hours to feel that way again, right? You can only feel it once a day. Right? It's a very fleeting experience. But what's not so fleeting is the freedom that eating once a day comes with, right? A lot of people don't realize the other benefit of eating once a day, which is that it really frees up your system, your social life, if you will. See, when I started eating once a day, I started to realize all the new opportunities that it opens up. See, I don't have to worry about if I have a project that's going to go past my lunch hour, or I do a lot of private tutoring. I can schedule lots of clients without regard to if I have a break for food, right? Obviously, I have to know ahead of time so that I can eat before and after. But entire jobs have opened up that I never would have thought about because, oh my God, I need to go out to get lunch, right? It's really liberating in some ways. Another thing is that when I go travel, if I want to go to a theme park, if I want to go to, if I want to see a movie, or if I want to take a road trip, I used to dread having to drive through the Rocky Mountains because there would be a good stretch of at least a day and a half, 2 days, where you definitely don't want to be pulling out to go to a grocery store. The roads can be very confusing, the conditions can be very messy, maybe not during this time of year, but other times of the year. And so I used to dread how I would get through that. I would have to pack a lot of food in my car, and then I would make a mess, right? Things would spill. I would have bars of chocolate, and I would forget about them under the seat, and they would melt. Or I don't like eating in my car, especially if I also have to camp out in my car when I'm traveling. I really despise that. I don't have to worry about that anymore. The trip through the Rocky Mountains can be just another fast again. And so when I fast once a day, entire vacation possibilities open up, entire career possibilities open up. And it's just one less worry. It's kind of like if you had a computer that had a battery that lasted 24 hours. Entire possibilities could open up. You could go work outside or go work in the Rocky Mountains. Well, I guess the data might be a problem. You could go work on a flight. It wasn't that long ago when you couldn't plug in your computer on an airplane. But now that I'm so accustomed to fasting 24 hours, the idea of traveling, right, flying somewhere, I don't have to worry about bringing food on the airplane, the idea of driving through the Rocky Mountains, the idea of going to see a movie without being interrupted by food cravings, all of that has entire career possibilities, right? I was just scheduling some clients and I was like, oh my God, I don't have to worry about a lunch hour. That was really nice. Okay, that's the benefits of fasting once a day. But I was thinking about what would happen if I could eat once a week, or once a month, or once a year, or once a lifetime, and I started to muse about the science fiction possibilities. See, once a day already brings a lot of benefits, but if I were fasting once a week, I would say entire vacation opportunities could open up. See, I could go to places where food might not be very safe, right, and stay there for a week if I could eat just once a week, right? I have dietary restrictions, and reading food labels in other countries or asking people about ingredients is often very tricky, right? Depending on the language there, right? Even going to China, I mentioned yesterday in another video how I was at a wet market in China, and I had asked the vendor if he uses MSG, and he got very insulted that I would claim that the Chinese people would use MSG, right? Fortunately, I didn't get to eat there because after I came home, a couple months later, we found out all the horrors of wet markets, right, in China. But you can see the barrier that it brings, right? But if I'm eating once a week, all of a sudden I could go those places without having to worry about bringing food or anything, right? My body would be completely liberated to travel all across the world, right? Or even beyond the world, right? If I wanted to go to the moon for a few days, that would probably simplify the trip a whole lot, right? Okay, that's once a week. If I'm eating once a month, now I have the opposite problem, right? I could go to another country where food is a lot cheaper and have my binge meal over there, right? Once a month. Let's see, I'm eating 2,000 calories a day on average, so I'd be eating 60,000 calories. See, I would save a lot of money that it would almost be worth traveling to like Gdansk, Poland, binge eating there, and then coming home and fasting for a month, right? Let's see, the trip to Gdansk, if you're lucky, you could probably get a flight for on the cheap, right? And the other thing is that right now I'm staying at a month-to-month Airbnb. I could probably get an Airbnb over in Poland for like a tenth of the cost, right? And save my money on the food and then come back and fast, right? If I could fast once a year, well, there are certain foods that are in season that I love, right? I'd have to think about what time of the year I want to do my feasting, right? I'd probably choose it during the winter time, right? Because winter time can be very depressing for me, and it's much easier to fast during the summer, right? But you get the idea. Eating once a week, once a month, once a year, even once a lifetime. If it were once a lifetime, well, I'm really liberated now, right? I don't have to think about where and when I travel, what kind of job I take, or I could be a space explorer, or I could explore the bottom of the oceans, or you get the idea, right? But of course, we haven't figured out a way to eat. Maybe once a week we could do, but we humans have not figured out a way to eat once a month or once a year now. But you can enjoy still most of the benefits by eating once a day, right? So I encourage you to think about that, right? Instead of thinking of it as a sacrifice, view it as how much you're being liberated, right? Thanks for watching.